You know the name: Gandalf the Grey, Gandalf the White. He walked as a wanderer, fought as a wizard, and rose as something more. But where did Gandalf come from? What power shaped him before even the First Age began? The answer lies in the oldest song of all, and what he truly was might just surprise you. In the beginning, there was only Eru Ilúvatar, the One. From his thought came the Ainur, immortal spirits born from music. The mightiest among them became the Valar, who shaped the world. The Maiar came after, lesser in power, but no less eternal, and among them was Olórin, the one we would later call Gandalf. In the Ainulindale, the song of the Ainur, each spirit wove a thread of the world's design. Olórin's was subtle, a quiet harmony that soothed and calmed. Where others thundered with fire and might, he offered stillness. Already, he was becoming what he would always be, a presence that brought peace without command. When the Valar entered Arda to shape the world, the Maiar followed. Olórin dwelled in Valinor, the undying lands, among the Valar. He walked the gardens of Lórien, learning of vision and memory. He was drawn to the places of quiet thought, where dreams touched the edges of wisdom and sorrow. Olórin was closest to Nienna, Lady of Mourning. She taught him through grief and endurance. In her halls, he learned that sorrow opens the heart to mercy, and pity is the root of true strength. Her teachings would guide him for all ages, that through loss one sees most clearly what is worth protecting. Other Maiar shone like stars or walked in splendour, but Olórin remained humble. He did not seek dominion, nor did he hunger for glory. He believed that greatness could blind, and wisdom grew best in the shadow of things. It was this restraint that would set him apart from those who later fell. He walked unseen among the elves in Valinor, appearing in dreams and gentle whispers. They did not know his name, but they felt his presence. He taught them without speeches or display, helping them understand their own hearts. Even before setting foot in Middle-earth, he was already shaping its fate quietly. He did not go to Beleriand or fight in the wars of the First Age, but from afar, Olórin saw the ruin Morgoth wrought, how power unchecked only brought ruin. He saw heroes rise and fall, and he remembered. In every act of pride, he saw warning. In every quiet sacrifice, he saw hope. Some of Olórin's kin followed Melkor into darkness. Sauron was once among them. The Balrogs too had once been Maia. Olórin saw what ambition could do, even to the immortal. He feared not only the shadow, but what lived inside those who sought to master it. That fear would later become wisdom. Ages passed. Morgoth was cast into the void, but evil did not end. Sauron gathered power in secret. As the Second Age waned, the Valar foresaw a darkness that could not be met with war. This time, the world would be guided, not saved. And the choice of who would guide it mattered. The Valar sent 5 Maiar into Middle-earth in the form of old men. They would be called the Istari, wizards, Curunir, Iwendil, Alatar, Palando, and Olórin. He was the last to agree, hesitant and humble, but Manwë insisted, and Varda herself blessed him. Among them all, he was most trusted. To walk among mortals, the Istari had to limit themselves. They would feel weariness, hunger, even despair. Powers were veiled, instincts dulled. Olórin accepted this burden more deeply than the others. He would not dazzle or dominate. He would earn trust through wisdom, not spectacle. In this weakness, he found strength. He came not with fanfare, but quietly, across the western sea. Among the Istari, he took the humblest form. Cloaked in grey, he wandered the wild places, listening before speaking. Though lesser in appearance, his fire burned steadier than the rest. In time, Middle-earth would call him Gandalf, Elf of the Wand. Círdan, ancient and wise, saw the light behind Gandalf's eyes and gave him Narya, the red ring. It kindled hearts, resisted fear, and inspired resolve. Gandalf wore it in secret, using its power not for control, but to strengthen others. It suited him. Fire, not to burn, but to awaken. Gandalf worked not through armies or politics, but through relationships. He watched, waited, and encouraged. He knew the hearts of hobbits, the flaws of kings, the doubts of warriors. His greatest gift was not foresight or magic, but presence, the ability to be in the right place at the right time, saying little, meaning much. He was called the Servant of the Secret Fire, wielder of the Flame of Anor. These were not mere titles. The Secret Fire was the creative force of Eru himself, the will to bring light into being. Gandalf carried that purpose, not to destroy, but to preserve what could still bloom in darkness. In the depths of Khazad Dûm, Gandalf faced a creature like himself. The Balrog was once Maia, now a beast of flame and shadow. Their battle was not just of might, but of spirit. It was Olórin against what he might have become, and in that clash his old self was burned away. He died in the dark, and beyond death he was judged. Stripped of his mortal shell, the spirit of Olórin stood again before the will of Eru. He had fulfilled his task, not with conquest, but through faith and sacrifice, and so he was sent back, not as the same, but as more. He returned with clarity. The grey was gone. The burden of doubt was lifted. As Gandalf the White, he bore greater authority, not through command, but conviction. He had passed through death, through fire, through failure, and now he shone, not because he sought power, but because he had never chased it. The Valar had chosen wisely. In a world tearing itself apart, they needed one who could mend rather than break, who could wait rather than rush. Olórin had feared his own weakness, but that fear became strength. He could walk with mortals, not above them, and that made all the difference. From Nienna he had learned pity, and he never forgot it. Mercy shaped every choice, every hesitation. Even in the face of evil, he saw what others had been before they fell. He understood that some battles are won with understanding, not only with blades. That was the wisdom of the West. He was neither fully divine nor fully mortal. Gandalf stood between the undying and the dying, the eternal and the fleeting. He carried the memory of stars before they were named, and the grief of villages burned in war. He was a bridge between realms, and for a time he held both together. Gandalf's fire was never destruction. It was the fire of resistance, of endurance, of will. Like Narya, his power was to rekindle, not consume. He found the spark in others and fanned it into flame. He reminded them they could still act, still choose, even when the world said they could not. He lived without glory. He died without monuments. His victories were whispered, not sung. But his path was never meant to shine for its own sake. True guidance is quiet. The greatest powers work unseen. And Olórin, more than any Maia, understood that the world is not saved by pride, but by perseverance. When the long war was ended, Gandalf left Middle-earth as he had come, silently, without demand. He had fulfilled his task. His work was never to remain, but to lift others. And so he passed over the sea, not to be honoured, but to return to the light that had first made him. No statue marks his grave, no age bears his name, but in every quiet act of courage his spirit lingers. In stories of kindness, sacrifice, and wisdom offered freely, the echo of Olórin remains. He did not change the world through force, but helped it remember what was worth saving. He began as a quiet Maia, walking among gods. He became a weathered guide, walking beside mortals. And in the end, he was both. The journey changed him. Even the immortal can grow, and in his growth, Gandalf became more than a servant. He became a symbol of what light truly means. He brought no great army, he forged no empire, but where he walked, fear faded. Despair retreated. In the smallest of moments, in a warning given, a fire lit, a hand extended, he turned the tide. His power lived in the hope he rekindled, quiet and steady when the world was ready to break. He did not slay dragons or wear crowns. Others carried the ring. Others claimed victory. Gandalf's power was in helping others rise. In his silence, others found voice. In his shadow, they stepped forward. That was always the point, to awaken greatness in others and then quietly step aside. A Maia of the West, a bearer of fire, a guide, a friend, a light in the storm, Olórin became Gandalf, and Gandalf became something more than legend. He walked among the fragile and the mortal, and proved that the highest power is not always destined to rule the world, but to awaken the ones who are. If you enjoyed the journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. There's a whole universe of lore waiting to be uncovered, so join us here at LoreKeepers, where we guide you from scroll to starship.